All right, welcome. We are the Veteran Watchdogs, and this is another show. This is our fourth show from the last 6 months. I have Russ here, our guest. He's back on the show.
Thank you, Steve.
I'm Steve Carpenter, and the title of this show is called Abomination, and you'll see why in a few moments. We want to explain, and I'm sure there's a lot of questions that aren't answered that the American public would like to know. So let's start on the president's background. What's your take on that, Russ?
Well, Steve, I know there's been a lot of speculation about where the president was born, if he was indeed born overseas or in the United States, and with the birth certificate, long form that was released. I just believe that if there was more transparency coming forth from the president, that he could put a lot of this speculation to rest. Unfortunately, that has not been forthcoming.
Okay. There was 3 colleges that he attended with college transcripts that were sealed. Can you expand on that a bit? Yeah,
supposedly he went to an Occidental college, another school, and then Harvard. And I think those transcripts have been sealed since then. And again, if he would just come forth, be transparent, he could put all of this speculation to rest. And again, it all comes back to him not being, I don't want to say honest with the American people, but being forthright and forthcoming with them. So I know Mr. Trump, Donald Trump, has offered him money to open these records. To me, just open up the records, put it to rest. You know, it's very simple. Because the longer you go on, more people are wondering about this.
And also it appears that, here he becomes the president of the United States.
Right.
We find out he hasn't been vetted. They never checked his background. What's your take on that?
Anytime you're a candidate, whether it's for local office or national office, you have an interview process as a candidate. Then once you're selected, there's more background investigations, and just they ask you, is there anything in your background which might be detrimental to the campaign or the party? You need to be forthcoming and forthright. I ran for a freeholder on a local level. I went through the interview process, and it's just standard operating procedure, SOP.
Well, I'm sure all the other presidents had to be vetted. I don't know why this president,
Again, you just answered the question. It just seems like this president is given a free pass on many occasions when other candidates or other presidents have not been. And again, I just can't understand why the media and the public are doing that. He shouldn't be held to a higher standard. He should be held to the same standard.
I understand. We had a huge incident that just happened on 9/11. On our embassy in Benghazi,
yes.
Libya. Could you tell us what went on there?
Actually, our embassy in Benghazi was attacked. Our ambassador and 3 operatives, 2 Navy SEALs and a CIA agent were killed. From what I understand, for months, the ambassador had contacted the State Department for help in beefing up forces there, letting them know that there was possibility of attacks. His warnings went unanswered, and this was the result. 4 of our American citizens murdered.
Now, who was the ones that was attacking the embassy? Do you know any of the groups?
They were actually Islamic militants, and I would say Al-Qaeda. New information coming out is saying that Al-Qaeda was in the back of this. Now you have the president saying that since we captured and killed bin Laden, cornered him and killed him, that Al-Qaeda has been substantially weakened. That's not the case. Al-Qaeda is still out there. They're still operating. They're operating within our own country. And for the president to have a perception like this, and for Secretary Panetta to have a perception, my gosh, how can you? We're still at war. We're still fighting. We're always going to be fighting. We always have to be vigilant. This president, he doesn't see it that way.
This is awful.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
He blames it on his intel. It's not his intel. He knew about this with the Benghazi attack. And if he went to bed that night knowing that those folks were under attack, I don't know how the American people can ever forgive that. Because I know the parents and the children of those men that were killed can't.
Now, isn't the responsibility of the Secretary of State to make sure that they have enough security in that area, as with all embassies are in?
Yes, it is.
Around the
Secretary
world?
of State, Secretary of Defense, everyone is in line on this. Joint Chiefs, there's a war room, there's a ready room in the White House. Whenever anything like this happens, it's real time. This should be discussed. From what I understand, General Haim, I believe his name was General Haim, individual said that he told the military to stand down. The information has now come out that he wanted to deploy all assets and he was told not to. Again, who was he told this by? Secretary Panetta? The State Department? Again, gross mismanagement, not just mismanagement, it's an injustice. Because again, we have 4 individuals dead.
Now,
Needlessly.
This is 7 weeks after, and this is still unanswered, and they, you know.
It's a shame.
It sure is.
It's a tragedy. It's a travesty.
Now, I'm going to ask you a few questions on the local
Sure.
front on how the president has been handling issues in our country as far as the economy and employment. What's your take on that?
Unemployment, we still have 23 to 26 million individuals unemployed and underemployed, okay? On the unemployment rolls, he touts that unemployment has gone down. No, the rolls are not reflecting the amount of people out of work, because after a certain point, those individuals that are out of work are no longer carried on the rolls. Some people, Steve, have just completely given up looking for work, okay? Our veterans returning from Afghanistan and Iraq, valiantly defending this nation, their unemployment is upwards of 27, 28%. They can't find jobs.
Sure,
And the jobs that people find at minimum wage, they can't even make enough money to keep a roof over their head. It's a shame. And he says that the economy is getting better? Hey, let me tell you something. Economics 101. In order to produce jobs, you've got to, let's face it, you have to extend the Bush tax cuts. If you do that, you're going to make these businesses stay in the United States. You're going to give them a tax break, i.e. manufacturing go up. What they're going to do is be able to hire more individuals. You hire more individuals, they're making money, pumping money back into the economy, and our production goes up. Right. If you stymie that, do you know that the Office of Budget and Management has now stated that if those cuts are not extended, and even economists have stated this, if those tax extensions are not pushed into 2013, this country can go into a depression even worse what we saw in 1929. Does the president want this? It seems that he does. And it seems that he doesn't have a handle on basic economics. You don't have to have a degree from Harvard to figure this one out.
And it was also said that he had bailed out the auto industry. In fact, that's what he's using for his running ticket for another 4 years.
Well, he's bailed out the auto industry, but most people don't realize, do you know a lot of dealerships went out of business because there was a stipulation that consolidation had to take place. So a lot of these small mom and pop dealerships no longer exist since that. Remember that Cash for Clunkers? That was another ridiculous effort on his part. And a lot of the stimulus money still hasn't been spent.
I understand.
People are afraid to invest. This economy has been stymied.
Now on another factor, you know, we always had great relations with Israel. As far as I can remember back when I was a kid,
we're allied.
We always supported Israel. And yeah, they said even recently when the Prime Minister of Israel was here, it was Netanyahu,
right?
And it was told that the president didn't want to even meet with him.
No, he rebuffed him. Now this man, this is our anchor in the Mideast. Ever since the creation of the Jewish state, Israel, they have been our closest ally. Okay? And now for us to treat them that way, it's a shame. And now you see why they're... Do you know only 17% of the Israeli population has a positive outlook on President Obama? 17 out of 100. That means 83% of the people have a negative outlook on the President of the United States.
Now that sends a message for us.
Gosh darn, yes it does.
Yeah, it sure does. Well, here he wants to come back with another 4 years with a record like this.
Why? Well, I don't see a record. And and in these debates, all he's done is attack Governor Romney. And let me tell you something. Governor Romney is the man for the job because he knows how to run a business. He's run a state. He reduced the deficit there. He got them on the right track. And let me tell you something. I don't know what President Obama and Vice President Biden are running on, because every time they're like an attack dog out there. They can't run on a thing. Yet I don't understand the American people, but I do have faith that on November 6th, the American people will make the right decision and get this country on the right track, because we can't afford another 4 years of this. Our national security, is at risk too. We're getting hit by cyber attacks every day. The state of South Carolina, the governor came on a few days ago, Social Security numbers and credit card numbers were stolen by international cyber attacks. And what has this administration done about that? Nothing. Nothing. We don't even have proper laws in place internationally. I'm telling you, they've paralyzed this country. And they've divided it, Steve.
Have you seen the last 3 debates?
Yes, I have.
And what do you feel about?
I feel very good for the American public that Governor Romney on November 6th will be President Romney.
It's great to hear that.
I do, because I have faith in the American people.
All right, Russ, we're going to conclude for our 4th taping of this session here. And do you want to say anything else on a book or?
I would just like to say that I think that Governor Romney is doing the right thing, and I just want to say about the president that he's put all of this on the Bush era, that everything that's happening to us is from President Bush. Well, let me tell you something. All I know is on September 11th, when the attacks came, for that 8 years afterwards, he kept us safe every day. He kept us,
I concur on
this
that.
nation strong. Yeah. So I just want to put that out to everybody. But please, make the right decision on November 6th. We can't withstand another 4.
I was speaking to you last time. You were talking about writing a book.
Oh yes, a friend of mine. We're actively in the infancy of putting together a book, just on information from regular guys about what people are talking about over their coffee in the morning, at the food store, but issues of the day from a common sense. You don't have to be a political pundit to put this into a book form. But that's in its infancy. But it's something we're looking at right now. But right now the main focus is to get Governor Romney elected president, to turn this nation around and protect this nation.
Okay, well, we're going to conclude the Watchdogs here, and it was great to have you on our show again, Russ. And
pleasure, Steve, as always.
Okay, we're going to start probably our 5th session probably in a month from now, and we'll call you back.
Oh, very good, Steve. And if I might put out to you,
yes.
Again, just please let everybody know. Get out there, exercise your God-given right to vote. It was fought for, it was given to you. It's a gift. Utilize it.
Okay, Russ. Well, you have a good one, and thanks again.
Thank you.